So what is going on, everyone? As you notice, I did actually trade my car, as the thumbnail says. I did trade my Mustang for a Volkswagen GTI. Did I trade it permanently? No. So we're going to get in this little review of a GTI. I thought it'd be something fun and a little different to do than always talking about Mustangs. So let's get into this review. What is going on, guys? Back in the Volkswagen GTI, and here's the long story short on why I traded the GTI for the Mustang. Don't worry, I know anyone that's here for the Mustang and is a huge fan of the Coyote or whatever in the Mustang. No, I didn't permanently trade. So the story behind it is I jokingly said to a coworker, hey, let me get your keys and I want to drive your car. He threw me the keys and said, hey, can I get the keys to your car? So I threw him my keys, and we went and did a few errands, and then he asked me if I would be down to kind of just trade the Mustang for the GTI for the day, or actually overnight. And I was like, let me think about it. So I thought about it a little bit, and I was like, actually, sure. We're both car guys, so let's just do it. He loved the Mustang. I was falling behind him when we were doing the deliveries for the company that we work for, and he was having a blast. So I knew he really wanted to have a blast. So I brought it back yesterday to work, and then he was kind of just like, you know, you can borrow one more day. So I was like, okay, so let's do that, and let's just make a video about it because this car is really fun. So the owner of this car is actually named Chris as well. And we're just gonna roll from second to third. This car shifts so smooth. That's the one thing about it. So this is a 2016 2.0 turbo GTI. It's a 4-door hatch, and it has a 6-speed manual transmission, and the clutch on it is very light. It's stock, and this transmission shifts very, very smooth. Even though it's newer technology, compared to my car, this transmission shifts so much better. I mean, it's shifting like I'm just spreading butter on a sandwich or something. But the only mod done to this car is a muffler delete and a K&N filter, I believe. And it's got a nice carbon fiber vinyl wrap on the gas tank and on the hood that kind of makes it look a little different. The color of this car is white, as you've probably seen from the few clips that I posted in the beginning of this video, but I'm kind of doing the talking first. So we're gonna see what it does. First gear pull. So we're gonna dive into the interior of this car first before we do anything else. So the seats, not a big fan of the design of the seats, but the seats are very comfortable. Not gonna lie, they're very comfortable. I think they are great for a road trip. I'm just not a big fan of the pattern, but I do like at night. It has the red trim on the door seals, and then the seats have the little red pattern as well, so it does match up well. The gauge layout has red needles, so that definitely helps. You know, it kind of blends in very well. Overall, the interior of the car is, I think it's made very well. I know it's a 2015. It's got a kind of a fake carbon fiber look, and you would expect, you know, interior being it's a 2016, but you know, being 2018 now, a car made a couple years ago, you expect, you know, something really up to date and nice. And everything, the doors don't feel cheap. None of the interior really feels cheap at all. The only complaint I've actually heard people complain about is the radio, how it looks cheap and it's not, you know, something that you would see in a Focus ST or something. Like even Ford has a better stock touchscreen radio. in my personal opinion, I don't think it looks bad at all. I think it flows really nice with the car. It's probably not the best out there, but I think that, you know, you're paying for, I don't know what these cars retail at, but, you know, let's say average like $35,000, maybe $40,000. I think you actually I think you get a pretty nice head unit for the price that you pay. Now, the second favorite thing I like about this car is, it's kind of a tie, so we're gonna go with the first, is the gauge layout of this car. I love how the gauge layout, you have your buttons right here on the steering column, whereas the review I did on the 2013 Mustang and a few other Mustangs I've driven, you have like your track options, and you have your different options that can display on the middle screen right here, like what gear you're in, how fast you're going, even though you have the digital analog, and then you have just your regular speedo. You can do kind of like the oil pressure to see what that's at, or, you know, temperature, and just small stuff like that. But I think it's really cool. So here we go. We're gonna do a small second, we're gonna do a small second rolling into pull. See what this can do. I mean, the car is just really responsive. Right there. It's the whole turbo lag thing. Yes, turbo lag is turbo lag, but I mean, for stock, this car is torquey. It's much more torqueier than the previous generation. This is a generation 7. There wasn't much redone from what I've seen and what I've looked up. Not that I know a lot about the Volkswagens, but I'm a huge fan of the way they look, and I'm definitely now a huge fan of how it drives. I've taken it around corners. Like I said, I've had the car for a couple days now, and I've been able to take it down back roads, so hopefully I'll find us some back roads or something like that. I think I'm gonna try to find at least one to kind of just see what it'll do. But I mean, it's on stock suspension, and for stock, it performs really well. I mean, it corners well. Coming from a Mustang, especially mine, and the owner of this car, I was like, so how'd you like driving the Mustang compared to this? And from what I could gather, he was like, you know, this will get up and go. It's torquey, but the Mustang, of course, is much more torqueier, and it's just in a straight line it wants to go. The Mustang, I've spent, you know, thousands of dollars on suspension where it will corner, it will handle going around corners, but it's not a GTI. It's not a track car to go, like, set up to go around corners as fast as this car. And, you know, the cars might weigh around the same weight now because of everything that I've done to the car, the Mustang-wise, tubular and a rear seat delete and stuff like that, but compared to a GTI is going to beat it. It's all-wheel drive as well versus rear-wheel drive, so this car is a lot of fun to drive. But the second favorite thing for interior is, I have to say, as small as this car is, there is a lot of room in it. I'm 6'1", 6'2", and I'm not having a problem at all as far as I'm sitting back. And, you know, people might complain, well, my knees resting against the plastic right here on the dash. You know, I don't really complain about small stuff like that. I kind of just, you know, enjoy it. Maybe in a long road trip, you'd be like, that's a little bit uncomfortable, but overall, I think, you know, the door pockets are really big. There's a lot of space. There's, you know, you can put your sunglasses. The glove box isn't too small. It fits really right at home in this car. So now we're going to get into the performance. So these cars come right around like 220 stock horsepower. I was told, I asked the owner of this car, he said right around like 210. So it's got a muffler delete. It's not going to do a lot, but I've seen these cars put out some actually decent numbers, like on YouTube and stuff watching. And again, it's a fun car to drive. I think it's more of a, you know, if you wanted to look at it like, so they call this car like a hot hatch. When you take a daily driver, turn it into a little sports car, and then add a turbo, I guess. This would definitely compete with like the Focus ST, the Artis, the Civic Type R, or like any Civic hatchback or something like that. You know, something Subaru has. And I really like this one a lot. I love a Focus RS. I love a Focus ST. I've ridden in both. I've driven one before. But I mean, just right when you're powered, man, in this car, after you hit like 2,000 RPM, it's just, the torque is there and it just goes and goes and goes. I mean, there's no one around. I mean, this car just, it gets out and moves, and that's what I like about it. So I definitely think the torque is there, and the suspension, for being, I will say this, for being stock, I've already said it, it handles great. So I'm gonna find us hopefully some roads, and that's the last part of this little review. So we're gonna see what it can do, and maybe this guy in the Nissan 3 wants to race. I think so. Let's see. loves the sound of this car. That's another thing. If you like, the muffler delete makes this car sound so good. It already sounds great stock. And that's, you know, when you're a car guy, you're like, I want to definitely change the sound of the car. And just a small, cheap mod like that definitely did it. So, let's see. We're going to roll back into this. No, I don't think he wants to raise it. I don't think he's afraid. I just think he just like, I think he's more or less enjoying just cruising. It's hot as hell in Virginia right now, so it's cloudy weather and it's rained yesterday, but it's been like hot as hell every day, so I think he's just cruising with the top down and he's just kind of enjoying everything, so we're gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna catch back up with you guys once I catch some turn. Alright guys, so I've had a little more time to just actually get down in the car and drive it a little more than I have been the past couple days, and here we go. Finally, I kind of found us a road that has a lot of kind of like back roads and turns, so hopefully there's not a lot of cars back here, so we'll be able to see what this thing can actually kind of do. So right now, that's the thing that I hate about like car reviews. Like when you're doing a car review and you want to actually show show what the car can do, you can never do it. But when you're just like alone or something, you have all the room to do it. But okay, so like I said, this car's on stock suspension, and the only mod is a muffler delete. So that just produces a better sound, honestly. So, all right, here we go. Second gear pull, and I mean, this car is just literally. If I was in the Mustang, I'd probably be braking at least a few times. I haven't braked once with this car, and I mean, I'm just going. The stock suspension feels great on this car. The cornering, I mean, anybody that owns a GTI or some kind of like sports car like RS or something, you know these roads are fun and you love them. I mean, this car, there's like, you really don't even feel like the body rolling at all. It's not the best for stock suspension, but it's great. The car performed awesome throughout that. And I can't film and find every back road or whatever, but this car has performed immaculate through every turn I've taken this car through. So, I'm gonna try to take this car around, and we're gonna try to do we're rolling in the first. Very torquey for the size of the motor, the size of the car. Overall, this car is great. So I'll roll back into fourth, or I'll hit third one more time. I mean, it's just an immediate response. Your power band is just right there. So even if you just roll out of it and roll back into it, it's right there and very responsive. So that's all I'm gonna risk to do today, guys. But if you're looking to buy a car that is, I guess, the so-called hot hatch, a car that is, you know, a great daily, has enough room, very comfortable to drive, very awesome, I would definitely look at considering a Volkswagen GTI, especially the four-door. I'm more of a four-door fan, even if it's like the Focus or something. I'd rather have four doors instead of two, and overall this car is great. And coming from a guy that owns a Mustang, and I love my Mustang, don't get me wrong, would I buy one of these as a daily or something, or to have a fun little car to drive around? Hell yes. I definitely respect one of these cars, and I was never like, I wasn't a huge fan, but I wasn't a fan, like I was not a fan as well. So I was always kind of a fan of the way the car looked and how the car performed, how the car sounded with people that I know that own them and stuff like that. So overall, guys, I definitely respect this car a lot more as a brand, and I understand why people drive these cars more. I mean, the GTI is a great platform and is a great car to learn how to drive and just have fun in, or just have a fun sports daily driver. So like I said, guys, if you're looking to pick one up, definitely pick one up. And the Gen 7 honestly is my favorite, and there's so much more potential with this car. Imagine if it had coilovers and full out suspension. I mean, this car maybe the owner will do all that to this car, but this car would be like 3 or 4 times more fun to drive. So that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review, as I am coming to a stop to do the glamour shots of this car real quick in a nice little quiet setting place. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for sticking around and viewing. Thank you for sticking around and watching something a little different on the channel instead of Mustangs all the time. This was a fun-filled little car review, and hopefully we'll get more to the channel. Follow the builds on the channel, hit that subscribe button, and throw this video a like. And if you're new to the channel, again, my name is Chris, and I own a Mustang, and we're just doing something a little different today. So make sure to turn that notification bell on for new videos on Mustangs and car reviews. And you stay awesome, and I will catch you guys later. Have a great one.